All right, welcome everybody into another rip-roaring edition of the Let's Go Devils podcast. Forgot there's no Sam Wu, so hey, what's up?
Yeah, so did I.
Scotty, Shorts Guy, and crew, otherwise known as Beer Baron, here joining with you, having a fantastical time. Season 8, Episode 7. Devils look for answers.
Yeah, they do.
And I know they are searching. They are searching for answers. So welcome everybody. Hello on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitch, X, everything else that Sam Wu usually says. Mrs. Wu's got him on lockdown right now. He had too many chicken fingers, too many burgers, too many French fries, too many racks of ribs over at American Whiskey on Friday night.
Too many Sam salads. He actually has to eat an actual salad right now. Mrs. Wu's got just all kinds of lettuce. Too many Sam
salads, yeah.
Just all kinds of lettuce, just shoving it in his face.
Salalytics. Kevin Ball eats a Sam salad before every game now. That's his routine. So.
Well,
but yes, hello everyone.
Oh man, I'll tell you what was fun. Speaking of Kevin Ball, having Kevin Ball ounces of Ann Crew Brew at the bar on Friday night was a lot of fun. We emptied a bunch of those towers of Ann Crew Brew, and I can tell you all and assure you it's fantastic. I can't tell you however many I actually had because, well, when you're coming out of a tower, you just kind of keep filling it up, and people kept filling up my beverage for me. So I'm very appreciative to everyone that did that was there. Thank you. A huge shout out has to go to all of our fans that came out. West Coast Devil came out. I know I saw him there, and I know Max was out. It was good to chug some beers with Max. All the Hockey on Tap guys came out. I appreciate that. Appreciate all of our hockey friends that came out that we play hockey with too. So, and everyone that just came out that I may have not have seen or that I may have forgotten. Thank you all for coming out. That was a lot of fun, and I can speak for Sam that it was just a really good time on Friday night at American Whiskey. And you know what? We're looking to do it again this Saturday.
Yeah, we got 2 games back out on the road, and then those blue shirts from across the river going to be coming to town. Oh baby, first place Rangers. They've been playing well, but they're beatable. Yeah. They are definitely beatable. So
that's this league though. There's so much parity in this league that everybody's beatable. I mean, even the lowly Sharks have actually won a couple of games finally. You know, Matt Black that win column. I know.
Listen, man.
It was the Flyers and the Oilers, but still, what that Sharks team was losing by like a baker's dozen. A couple games in a row. So anything can happen.
Yeah, I actually just got in from the West Coast like a couple hours ago, and last night went to a Kraken game out there at Climate Pledge Arena, and watched the Oilers completely smack the Kraken around. So, yeah, it's a really weird. Pissed. They were pissed. They were definitely pissed. It was a really weird experience for me. Watching a game that I had no real rooting interest in. I kept on saying "suck it, McDavid," to the chagrin of the Oiler fans that were sitting next to me. But he did not do anything except play well. So they played really well last night. But anyways, yeah. to further your point, it's just like this year is a very strange year. It's a strange year for the Devils, but there's some movement that could happen that could reshape this team in the immediate future. And I know one of our friends on here, Ronaldo, was saying, "Hey, gents, Zerdov, is that how you pronounce his name? Zerdov, the defenseman from Calgary. What will it take?
Yeah.
Zardov, Bardal, Vagisil. Little ump is watching me too close. Put a little jalapeno up my nose, get it running. Wipe my nose. Anyways." But Zardov, whatever. I'm surprised, Scotty, you didn't chime in on that one. What will it take? And that's a great question because I think that it would be a great fit for the Devils. I think a 6'6" defenseman. Didn't we just lose somebody that was about 6'6" recently? That was a good stay-home defenseman, shot blocking defenseman. Wouldn't it be good to kind of fill that void that we're missing so desperately right now? And I know a lot of people joke around like, "Oh yeah, just send him Brendan Smith." We already fleeced Calgary once when we got Toffoli for Sharangovich. I don't think we could do it again. So I think the asking price is going to be a little bit more. But the way things are going, boys, wouldn't be surprised if you see Alexander Holtz maybe going the other way if they make this deal. The only problem is this guy is a UFA. So unless you could reassure that you're going to lock him down, I don't know if it's worth giving up a lot.
Well,
I would not trade Alexander Holtz. No.
No.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not saying I would either. I'm just saying.
I mean, obviously, I would love. I would love to see.
Literally just say that.
Zadorov. No, I said it might cost Alexander Holtz. I'm not saying I want to do that.
Yeah, I think he said might. What about Brendan Smith and Willman?
Sure.
I don't know. Throwing it out there.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
A career AHLer and the guy that costs more penalty minutes than anybody on the team. Sure.
It's gonna take a prospect and someone who's already signed, I think, to get this deal done. Unfortunately, if I was Calgary, probably one of the people I'd be looking at is Jonas Siegenthaler, who is signed into a nice team-friendly contract for the long term. Seems to be the problem up there in Calgary is they can't get anybody signed. No one wants to stick around. So maybe the plan is go get guys that are already signed so they're already stuck, once they get traded. That's kind of a I don't know, because I think then I think it's Zadorov. I believe it is
Zadorov. There you go. By the way, thanks to our buddy Alan for pointing that one out. And I have to say this, Ted brought up the fact that Scotty's little brother's on the show today, everybody.
Oh,
fresh,
yeah. I had a little mishap. Had a little mishap with the old buzzer yesterday. Trying to do a little trim.
Put it on one and didn't realize you had it on one.
I could have swore I had that stupid clip on there, but then I went like zoom, and like this whole, I was like, and I was like, oh my God, no! And half the side of my face was missing.
Now you look.
I don't know what happened. I don't know if when I just put my buzzer down and it like fell off or something. I swore I had that thing on there, and
you were
so
angry.
It wasn't.
You were so upset about the Devils losing. You were so upset about the Devils losing. You didn't know what you were doing, and it just went, and it was like, oh, insult to injury. That's what it was.
I'll say that. Yes. I was so distraught because of that, and the fact that I couldn't sip on any Crew brew out here in Los Angeles. But there was a little mishap there with the buzzer. So you can't. There's like some 5 o'clock shadow already. So don't worry. By the end of the week, it'll be back. Don't worry.
So I gotta ask. When was the last time your face was this clean shaven?
Probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Whenever the last time I had a buzzer mishap happen, that's the only time it really, when you accidentally, you're like, oh no.
I did that the other day. I did that a while ago.
That sounds like user error, because I have, knock on wood, not had that happen to me in over 10 years. Going on.
Yeah.
11,
I did that where I thought
12.
it was on a 7, and I put it like real low, and I went to go trim the old mustache, and it was like, and I went, oh no! And then I wasn't just going to keep the old Amish beard going on, so I was like, I'll take it all down. Anyways, we're getting off. We're off the rails, boys. This is what happens. This damn season's falling apart, and we're already off the rails.
This sounds like pandemic era podcasting, not current team podcasting.
Yeah, I think the last time this happened was before the pandemic, though. It happened one other time while I was in LA, and then before that, it was a number of years before that. So, so whoops-a-daisy, it'll be back.
Whoops.
I got a trade for Calgary. Here you go. You ready?
All right,
this is not real. So don't actually analyze this. People out in the world, they're gonna be like, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard." I realize it's stupid. I'm just joking around more so than anything. But what about Andre Palat, Brendan Smith, and like a third for Noah Hannafin and who's a UFA, and either Tanev or Zardev. Zadorov, whatever, dude. I can't pronounce names. If you haven't figured that out by now, then
Samsonite.
I don't know what to tell you.
Way off.
Samsonite. Keep dreaming, JP. I am dreaming. Dream.
That's
Yeah,
what,
I mean,
that's what we
I
do
don't
here.
think
We
that's
dream.
gonna fly. Yeah, I don't know if that one's gonna fly, but it would be nice if
No,
it
it would
could go
never
down.
fly.
But
It would
yeah,
never
it would.
fly.
I don't think so.
And I know. Listen, I know
yeah,
a lot of people are. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I know a lot of people are hating on Palat lately, and I think it's because of his contract. If you look at his contract, he's not pulling his weight. I mean, if he was making half of that, people would probably back off a little bit. But he does need to step it up. Like, he needs to step it up in a big way. I think it's unfair, and we'll get into this a little bit more. But I think it's unfair, like how Alexander Holtz keeps getting relegated to like the fourth line and then sitting the bench. So we'll dive a little bit deeper into that for sure. But I mean, at the same time, like, if they're serious about making this move or making any kind of move that's going to shore up the defense, like, you don't want it. A lot of people will be like, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. It's still early in the season, but you don't want this season to start slipping away because November is quickly turning into December, and the season's already starting to go by pretty quickly. Like, we're approaching 20 games like relatively fast. So you don't want to fall into a spot where you're like chasing the bottom two wild card spots. Having Jack out and Nico out, obviously that sucks. It hurts, but offensively, they could still carry their own weight. It's just defensively and goaltending has just been an issue.
No, I mean that's the main problem is the defense, and I think we talked about this all preseason, all off season. That you have a bunch of younger guys that are taking these steps into very major roles, and Kevin Ball and
We
Luke
knew it was going
Hughes.
to be rough.
We knew it was going to be rough. They're replacing Damon Severson and Ryan Graves. And those are two, we all have our issues with Damon Severson, but he did make a few good plays here and there when he wasn't scoring, own goals and stuff like that. He ate up a lot of minutes, he didn't get played. I mean, when he did when he was younger, but then he grew into a man, which I hope, Luke will as well, but Luke is still getting bounced off the puck by some people and stuff like that. I mean, obviously he took that monster hit.
Hit. Holy God.
I mean, we need, in my mind, someone has got to step up when these things happen. Did you see? I think it was Toronto the other day, right? Someone opened ice hit Matthews, and it was like within like a second, Max Domi was over there, like dropping the gloves with whoever did it. Like, there's no one on the team that does that right now, and there can be, but for whatever reason, like. We have to protect our players or they're going to keep getting run like that. I know I sent you guys the article about Zadorov, the other day. I think you could get away with, we do have a lot of prospects down there, obviously, at the AHL level that I think Calgary would be interested in, but I think you would. I mean, I think it might cost a little bit more as well. I don't know if you're going to be able to get away with just giving them draft picks or, they may. I think, if they're going to look, I would think like Siegenthaler would be a player that they, would look to. But
I don't see them trading. I don't see them trading any of the Swiss players right now.
I don't either.
And it would. So going back to protecting our players. This is where you really miss Miles Wood because I feel like that's where Miles Wood would have stepped up. So this is where we need someone like a Curtis Lazar. This is where we need a Curtis Lazar to really kind of step
Thomas
up
Nosek,
fill that role,
or Nathan Bastian.
Yeah, one of those guys have to do that. We're just but we're seeing with Luke what we saw with Jack. Jack was bounced around when he first came into the league too. So. The Hughes boys come into the league small, and then Jack finally grew, and he's still getting bounced around, but. Luke is going to do the same,
much.
And not as much, but defensemen also take time to grow, and you can maybe make the argument that maybe they brought Luke up a little too soon. Maybe Luke should have played in the AHL a little bit. Kind of like we've done with Nemec. It's one of those balancing acts to where is he really. Was he really ready, or did they keep him up because of Jack? Like I don't know. I would hope that they wouldn't be that stupid just because Jack wanted him there, that they would keep him up. But Jack is the face of the franchise, so they want to make him happy as well. But I don't know if they'd be
Who's
that
got
stupid
talent,
to do
though?
that. He does
Who's
have
got
the talent.
Yeah.
No, he definitely has the talent. That's definitely not an argument at all. But I just know that defensemen take some time to grow into the game.
Definitely. And we're
more
seeing
than
that
more
with
than
Ball
forwards. More than
Ball
forwards,
and
yeah.
him right now. Oh, yeah. And how long did it take? We talked about this. How long did it take for Jack and Nico and Jesper and all them to develop? It took a number of years,
a couple of years.
Yeah,
we're getting
but
through that
here's
same process now with Kevin Ball and Luke Hughes and soon Demix. We got a lot of developing still doing here, on this team. I know everyone's ready to we're going to a cup run this year, but the other half of our team, the defense is still developing. The offense is there, obviously, but we're third in goals against. I think only the Sharks and the Oilers are the only two teams that have given up more goals than us, and you see where they
it's
are.
bad.
So
it is bad.
It's easier to hide a developing forward on your roster than it is to hide a developing defenseman.
Yep.
And that's what we're
for sure.
doing.
Oh yeah,
it's so much easier. It's so much easier to hide that forward than it is that defenseman.
Because if you break down as a defenseman, you're leaving your goaltender exposed, which has been happening a lot this year. We've been leaving our poor goaltenders out there to dry, and that's the thing too. Is the first thing you get looking at, from an outsider's point of view, is you look at the team and you're like, it's the goaltending. They're letting up 3 to 4 goals a game, maybe even more, and that's why they're losing. And it's like, no, not necessarily, because if you actually watch the entire game, you're watching these massive brain farts that are happening on the ice, or just the lack of experience, or whatever the case may be. Now, I don't know necessarily how you can go and fix that this early in the season, because if you think about it, hopefully the coaching staff, and there's something else I want to touch on too about the fighting aspect of the game, but hopefully the coaching staff is also harping on the forwards to come back and back check a little bit more and to be a little bit more sound defensively. I know the game is a high tempo where they want to be going up the ice and pushing the tempo, but at the same time, until we can shore up the defensive side of things, maybe we need to change the style we play it just a little bit. And also, going back to having somebody answer the bell when these dudes are getting hit, or like when somebody's getting run, like when Luke Hughes got run, it's, Curtis Lazar is a guy that can fight. There's a couple, Nate Bashin, you named a bunch, that even Mikey McLeod can fight. But the problem is maybe it's the coaching staff that doesn't want them to fight. Like, maybe there's a reason why there's got to be some kind of underlying reason why there isn't been, somebody going in the corner and just grabbing somebody by the face. You lose, because think about it like this. If you have Kevin Ball out there and you're like, well, Kevin Ball could fight and he could go wreck some people's lives. Yeah, he could, but then you're losing Kevin Ball. And then that doesn't help the team. If you're losing one of your fourth liners, that's not helping. Exactly.
Or you're going to lose some of your best players because other teams are taking run at them.
Understood. I'm not saying it's the right answer. I'm just trying to figure out why the hell it's been going on, because it doesn't make any sense. Because guess what's going to happen? We're going to play the Rags in a couple of days, and guess it's going to, either Kreider or one of these other knuckleheads is going to take a run at one of our guys. And if nobody does anything, it's like, what are we doing? Like, where's that lack of? Why is there a lack of excitement or just like that? I'm going to go punch somebody square in the face for even touching Jack Hughes. That's what should be happening right now. I get it. It's not old-time hockey. It's not like, McSorley going around there and holding people accountable for going near Wayne Gretzky, or, having Tony Twist or any of those guys out there on the ice that are going to, like, punch you in the face because you breathed that Brett Hull. Like, I understand that it's not the case anymore. Like, fighting is not really in an AHL. But maybe it needs to start coming back, because it's not just the Devils, by the way. There's a lot of dudes that are just kind of running amok out in the ice. And there's not a lot of guys out there like a Ryan Reeves who's going to make them answer for it. So that there is room for a tough guy. But at the same time, you don't need somebody that's going to – a fourth liner that's going to screw up your fourth line and make it basically dead in the water, because you got a guy that can barely skate, but he can throw his fists out there. So, like, it's a balancing act. Like, you got to find somebody that's like, a Czar makes total sense. If he would just, I don't know, maybe they need to be like, dude, it's okay. You can go punch somebody. Like, it's fine.
I would love to see Lazar fight.
Yeah, I can't see Lindy being
one
like,
of the reasons
guys,
we brought him here.
Guys, don't fight. We want everyone to think we're soft serve ice cream, okay? You know, I don't know. I can't see that being
No, I know.
the case. And especially like you said, a Lazar,
Yeah.
a Bastion, a McLeod. You know, we've seen even. I mean, I don't want to see it, but we've even seen Palat and Holla go in there, who aren't really fighters, but they'll muck it up a little bit. You know, Timo has tried to go in there, but again, I don't even want to see Timo fighting that much. I mean, Noshik. I mean, is like Nolan Foote really the answer? You know, or are we that desperate to get him back off of injured reserve? You know, like I just feel like someone should go in there, but the defense in general is a little soft. It's a little soft. Siegenthaler,
Geertsen experiment, JP.
The Geertsen experiment, yeah. Siegenthaler ends up getting run a lot, you know? Dougie is not a big physical force. We know that. Marino is not a huge physical force. You know, Luke is not a physical force. Brendan Smith can be, but, you know, most of the time he's taking penalties. Although I will say...
Maybe there's our fighter. Maybe it's Brendan Smith.
He did well, I mean, he's had the opportunity because he's Luke's partner, and Luke has been getting run all over the place. So, I mean, and Brendan Smith, actually, if you look at the numbers, he absorbs a lot of hits. And I will say, I pick on Brendan Smith a lot, but man, was that a great play when Ovechkin and Wilson tried to sandwich him, and he used the force of Ovechkin from hitting him from behind to then like plow into Tom Wilson, and like the Smith meat of that sandwich ended up exploding the bread everywhere. That was a good play, Brendan Smith. Keep doing those. Of course, I think he took a hooking penalty about 5 minutes later, but you know, whatever.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just think.
Oh, and by the way, I looked it up. What you said, defense, the Colorado game, they gave up. I think it was 14 odd man rushes. 13 odd man rushes.
Odd man rushes.
Whatever it was. Somewhere there in there. Yeah, 13, 14, whatever. That's way too many. Way too many.
And then you have like you know, Biz Nasty out there on a TNT broadcast basically calling the Devils like a joke. And he's not wrong right now. The way they look right now, they look like garbage some nights. Like they look absolutely soft, and they look just, I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know what is going on with this team. Yeah, you don't have Jack, and it shouldn't be like, we all knew that Jack carried this team offensively in a lot of ways.
He carried my fantasy team too.
Yeah, well, on the power play, there's a lot of different aspects that Jack, you know, the team ran through Jack. Nico being a hell of a two-way player, like him not being in there. Yeah, there's these elements that are costing them wins right now where you could have seen in that Colorado game, if Jack was in that game, I think that game's a hell of a lot different. If Nico's in that game, I think that game's a hell of a lot different. You're not going to be letting up those chances. And the power play, yeah, it's still clicking, but it would be clicking at a higher rate. That 7-minute power play against Colorado, imagine if Jack was out there. Oh, my God. Yeah. If Jack and Nico were still in the lineup, that would have been like a 4 or 5 goal frenzy. Like they would have feasted.
And they gave up a shorty on that. And
they gave up a shorty to Miles Wood. Out of all the people.
Of all players. Of all players.
Oh, no. We had to give up a goal to Taylor Hall the game before.
Yeah, Taylor Hall.
We had to give up one. Yeah, the next game to Miles Wood. It's like, of course it's him.
I can't stand it. I know. And the crap that Miles Wood, I like Miles Wood. I loved Miles Wood when he was a Devil. But like the stuff that he was saying leading up to that game was really annoying. Like, oh, I know all the secrets. I know how they play. And then after the game, he was like, I was right. Like, listen, dude. Listen, Pineapple Express. Go back in the corner and yuck it up, right? Like, I couldn't remember the kid's name. What is his name? The actor
James Franco.
There you go. You never thought Miles Wood looks. Miles Wood looks like James Franco.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Anyway,
yeah,
I'll give you that.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Do a little side-by-side comparison.
Sam and I were reminiscing about when Miles Wood, that first year that he was on the team, and he couldn't stop.
He would not.
He can
stop.
go really fast, but he couldn't stop at all. And you would just see him like off screen, just like all of a sudden, ba-doom, just like shoot like right across your TV, you know, and then like you hear this big bang, and you're like, oh, did he hit something? No, he just ran into the glass to stop himself.
Yeah, He's goes a mile a minute, and he's also he couldn't stop, and he was always offsides.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Miles, you got to slow
And-
down, man. You got to slow down.
And now we miss him.
You know what? I do and I don't. Like, he was so inconsistent, like offensively, and then like there's games where you're like, yeah, Miles Wood, and there was games where you're like, where the hell is Miles? Oh, he's out there. He's actually playing. I thought he was a healthy scratch, but he's out there all right.
Yeah.
The same thing with like, listen, Severson I think is a bigger miss than Graves. Graves blocked a hell of a lot of shots. We're seeing that there are ramifications of letting him go. And to circle back to that conversation in the beginning, like maybe Fitzgerald has to be not hitting the panic button, but maybe he has to be a little bit more proactive. Like you can't really sit back and be like, it's fine, because the Rangers are on a tear right now. The Canes are on a tear right now. If you look at the East as a whole, it's so packed, like tightly packed. Everybody's like within a point of each other, like a point or two of each other, which means like those wild card spots are going to start to get a little bit harder and harder to get, and then you're going to start battling for that. So be proactive, man. Don't let this season go to waste. Like that's my biggest fear is like they sit back, they wait too long, they don't make a move.
I don't think they'll do that.
And it starts to slip away, and then they start to make that push towards the end of the year, and then they just miss the playoffs. So
I don't think they do that. I don't think Fitzgerald lets his team get too far down the hole before trying to do something. He may be waiting a little bit, knowing that we haven't had Jack or Nico in a little while, maybe to see what this team is once they return. If this team continues this trend after Jack and Nico return, then I think that absolutely you're doing something. But that could be what he's waiting for. He's probably waiting for those two guys to come back, just to see what this team looks like with those two healthy in the lineup again, and then make his assessment, based on that. But at the same time, too, we're looking at a team that we lost our two best players. Like, God forbid that happens in the playoffs. Like, what, we would be bouncing in 3 games. You know what I mean? It would be quick.
And I think 2 other points that we haven't really brought up yet either is, one, Jesper Bratt has gone ice cold. And then 2 is without Jack and Nico, it's really evident how well they are bringing the puck up the ice and moving it into the zone.
Yeah.
Like there are times where I feel like we can just not get a zone entry to save our lives. But when you have Jack, everyone backs off and he just walks right in. Nico will power his way in. And when you don't have those 2 guys, it's a very subtle thing. Mikey McLeod can come up on that first line, but he's not a first line center. He's a bottom 6, center. Yep. And that's fine. That's what he is. And that's totally good. He plays his role very well. He can replace the maybe the defensive side and the face-off side, what we're missing on Nico. But then, down those other lines, it's not as strong, obviously. But getting the puck into the zone since Jack and Nico have gone down, now especially since Jack is down, he was the best. But without both of them, it is very, very noticeable.
It's rough.
On a subtle thing, that maybe, casual fans may not pick up on, but as astute as we are over here. But it's just something that's very evident. They have a hard time getting that puck in the zone.
Yeah, dude. And it's tough to watch sometimes too. Like you look, Bratter is like the only guy that can actually do it, and he looks sometimes like he's forcing it or he's trying too much. He's trying to make up, for the lack of those 2 guys being in the lineup, and which he probably is. He's probably pressing right now. He's probably like gripping the stick a little bit tighter and trying to do too much. And he's got to realize you still have Toffoli, who's still having a hell of a year. You still have Timo Meier, who, he's having a good year despite what people think because he's not scoring as much, but he's still having a very solid year.
He's kicked it in. He's been putting up points now. Those first 3 or 4 games are rough. He's point-wise, he's been doing great. I feel like one of the biggest problems that I have with the team right now is what's going on with Alexander Holtz. I don't know if he made fun of Lindy Ruff's dog, or he did something where he did something stupid to piss him off. But
some of his usage does not make any sense to me. The kid has got offensive skill, and you can see it. And I get it. Like, maybe they're like, there's things that we don't see, or there's things that, coaches could evaluate and are like, listen, yeah, he could shoot the puck really well. And yeah, he can, he's improved this year, but he's also a defensive liability. He did not get back. He's not back checking. He's not doing all the little things. I guarantee if Lindy Ruff came out to the media and was like, do you want to know why I'm playing Holtz the way I'm playing him? He could probably lay it out, and all of us would be like, oh, I get it. But from our point of view, from a fan's point of view, and it's not just us saying this, it's like if you go into social media, people are screaming about why is he not getting enough time? Why is he not? And even Holtz has come out and said, like, yeah, I don't know why I'm not playing as much or something like that. And maybe the answer to some of their woes is maybe take Palat and drop Palat down and then just experiment with bringing Holtz up to like one of the top two lines until Jack and Nico get back. I mean, right now, what do you have to lose? I mean, this might be the perfect time to really push the kid's minutes up and see what he could do.
I mean, I thought he was doing good. I mean, he actually got on a number of back checks that I saw, even in the Washington game as well, where he broke up a couple plays getting back. So I feel like he's been doing a lot better defensively. And until Mikey McLeod left, at first I was like, what the hell's going on? But then I really liked the McLeod, Bastian, Holtz lineup because I felt like McLeod and Bastian were clearing some space for him, and he was starting to get open in that slot area where we want him to get open because he's got that rocket shot. So at first I thought the same thing, and then after like that, until Mikey got moved up there, I liked that combination there for like, I think they played for like 2 games, and I think Holtz scored in both of them. So I think the idea was just have them create some space for him. Now, obviously without Jack, without Nico, could be the time to do that. But I kind of actually liked him down there in that fourth line because I thought it brought a full complement scoring wise.
Yeah.
But we're obviously not at full power right now. So it's a different story. So yeah, maybe he can be moved up a little bit more. Maybe Lindy doesn't want to put too much pressure on him too early.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jack is going to be, well, what did Kevin Weeks say? This was like on Wednesday? He said it was going to be 3 weeks for Jack.
Yeah.
There's still no timetable
like
on
3
Nico.
weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks from when he said that, or 3 weeks from the injury? Is that what he's talking about?
I can't remember the report.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Colin Miller might be coming back. What is that kid's name? Willman. He just went back to Utica, so it doesn't look like he's going to be making a trip. So that means somebody's coming back. It's probably Colin Miller was the closest. Nico, I have a fear that Nico has that Sidney Crosby concussion, which is scary because that would mean we lose him for a while.
Yeah, that would not be good. Well, random thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say random thing because I'm looking at the stats as we're talking because I'm just curious about a lot of this going on. Who do you think leads the team in plus minus right now?
Probably Andre Palat. Probably somebody like that.
Is it Holla?
Is it
Okay, so I hate this new NHL app because it only gives like it's so stupid. You can only see the top 2 for plus minus. So number 2 with the whole +1 is Jesper Bratt.
Oh,
and
yikes.
leading the team with the whole +2, Mikey McLeod.
Well, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
I was looking at because I was looking up Dawson Mercer because I feel like he's
starting to heat up
too.
a little bit.
Yeah, but he's got to do more. He's got to do more. I mean, I think it's 2 goals on the season now. He's got
to bury some of those chances.
He does. He's a -6 right now.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a -6. Dawson Mercer. Yeah, I know. He's got what was it? 2 goals, I think. He's got 2 goals and 0 assists, and he's a -6. So, and that's in
Come
13
on.
games. He's
Come
got to
on,
do better
Merce.
than that. Seriously. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. You know, we're talking about the defensive woes of this team, and our leading plus minus players are +2 and +1. And one of them is Mikey McLeod. He's probably only a +2 because of his time on ice. You know, that's probably why he's leading. But it's just, I don't know. It's just, it's not good right now. You know, I'm just going to cruise. I really wish they would show all of these stats all at once. It would make our lives so much easier. But like even Tyler Toffoli, he's a -5. So the defensive side of the game is just not good.
Just putrid.
Just not good
putrid
at all.
right
It's
now.
just not good at all.
Who's the Devils' defensive coach? Like who is responsible for
McGill.
Who is it?
Ryan McGill.
He's the responsible for our defensive side of the puck. Was he there?
Yeah.
Was he the dude last year too?
Yeah.
So
What the hell's going on, man?
It's young players. We knew this. We knew this coming into it. You know.
Yeah.
McGill,
McGillicuddy.
It was going to be young defensemen, and our goalies are suffering because of it. I think Akira's goals against is like 3-0 something, and then Schmid's is, no, I'm sorry, Vanacek's is like 3-4-5, but he's played more games, so it's like
Akira looked a lot better though after
he's starting to look better. Yes,
replacing Vanacek, which I don't think those 2 goals, by the way, were really Vanacek's fault. The second one was a deflection off a Luke's stick, and the other one was a 2-on-1. You know.
Yeah,
but I get it. I think Lindy was just trying to wake the team up a little bit, you know. But I was a little worried there with Schmid going in, but I gotta say he played really well in that last game.
He did, and that's kind of going back to Schmid's bread and butter from last year, because he would do really good when coming into those situations for Vanacek, and he pulled our asses out of a bunch of games last year. You know, that we had no business winning. And we did. So maybe that's what he needs to do to gain his confidence back. But yeah, we were all, because Sammy and I stayed at American Whiskey on Friday night, and we were watching a game there, and we were all kind of like discussing about how that may be the quickest I think we've ever seen Lindy Ruff pull a goaltender like that, and it was definitely not.
Oh yeah, normally he lets him cook.
Yeah, normally he lets but there is something to that, to letting the goalie have to work through that problem, which all goalies have to learn at some point. But he's usually not that quick to pull a goalie. And Scotty, I completely agree. I think he was doing it just to make a statement, because that's sometimes a real good statement for your defensive core and for your whole team defensively. Is like, oh, you guys want to leave him out to dry? Well, guess what? I'm going to pull him because of you. And that's the mentality I think he was hoping for. Unfortunately, we didn't get the result in the win. But I gotta imagine that there were some conversations had after that game. I would hope so, at least. There were conversations that happened after that game, in explaining why VTech was pulled that quickly. At this point, the defense has got to step it up, because both our goalies are suffering because of it.
Yeah.
Ariel,
that's a great point.
Neither has a 900 save percentage again. Which
no, they're only 8s. They're in the 8s.
Yeah.
Which is scary. It's not what we want.
No.
And I was going to say, Ariel said something on the YouTube group chat there. We went from a defensive first culture to no defense. That's unfortunately how it feels right now. Ruff said that he didn't like the way Vanacek looked on the second goal when he pulled him, according to Joseph. So, all right, and if that's the case too, what's not going to breed confidence in your goaltending is having absolutely shaky defense in front of them. And they think that, and this is, listen, a part of your game is trust, right? And if the goaltenders can't trust the defenseman out in front of them, they're going to be constantly overplaying, overthinking, and just overanalyzing the situation that they're in. And it's not going to help them whatsoever if there's these constant breakdowns and these 1-on-0s or these 2-on-1s or these, like you said, the Colorado game, 13 odd man rushes. And, to be honest with you, it's like, I don't care if you have Martin Brodeur in that right now. His save percentage would be in the 8s right now too. The defense needs to be fixed. They need to be able to do something. They have an opportunity right now. Look, a dude who is a pretty dang good defenseman, who's got the size, who's got grit, who's just requested a trade. You're reportedly one of 3 teams that's trying to go get him. Well, go get it done. Make me sneeze over here.
After all that anger.
Yeah. As you can see, I didn't want to blow the microphone out and just sneeze right into it. Yeah. No, seriously though, go get if you think you can get it done, go get it done. And if at this point, I don't want him to mortgage the future, and I don't think he will. Fitzy seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders, but at the same time, like he has to be able to see the writing on the wall. We can't keep pushing this out there. Like I said it in the podcast to Chico on opening night. I said, the good side is that we have all this offensive talent, which can make up for some of these defensive mistakes. And yeah, Dawson Mercer after asking for a beer sneeze. Can I have a beer, please?
Achoo.
You got the sniffles, boss. You got the sniffles, buddy. All right, here's a tissue. But
oh my goodness.
Yeah. But seriously, go get something done. Go out there and make this move if it's the right move for the team, which it feels like it's a perfect fit. That's why it should work. So
that's the hope.
We'll see.
That's the hope.
Okay. So I'm gonna I'll play devil's advocate though, and I'll say,
oh boy,
it's only game 14.
But you can't fall. Look at the division. Look at the East. You're gonna find yourself in a position where you're 10 games back, and it's gonna be January 1st, and you're gonna be like, dude.
But you're in third right now.
Now we have a ton of now. Actually, let's pull that up right now as we're saying this.
What are you pulling up?
Trust the standings right now. Devils are actually 4th. They're behind. They're behind the Capitals. And guess what? They're tied with the Flyers. They're only a point above Pittsburgh. They're 4 points removed from Columbus, who's in last place. So you're telling me that we're only 14 games in. Yes, we're only 14 games in. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the Rangers have 21 points. Carolina has 18. Washington has 16. So Washington's only 1 point ahead of us. That's not even what I'm worried about.
Oh, because we gave them 4 points. We gave them 4 points.
Yes. The Devils are now
those are the games that matter.
Yes, and the Devils are 10th in the East. So and listen, yeah, it's real tight because from 7 to 14,
Montreal's above us.
2 to 3 point. Yeah,
Montreal's above us in the wild card standing.
Yes, so is Tampa Bay. So is Washington, Toronto, Detroit.
So you don't make the playoffs in November, but you certainly can lose the playoffs in November.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, on the other side of that, last was it November or December? Would we lose like 12 in a row?
No, we won 13 in a row.
But we were
and then we lost 6, and then we lost like 6 in a row. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah, because I knew there was both, right? So
we won 13, then we lost 6,
and we stood pat. We stood then. So do you say now is the time, or do you say I'm going to wait until maybe say game 30 when you still have 52
were our
defensive left?
But we would have to look at what our defensive stats were comparative last year to this year at this point, because our defensive stats right now are terrible. The forwards,
different defensemen, yeah.
The forward, the issue with up front with the forwards, we're missing 2 of our top players, our 2 top players for injury. So you're not gonna trade your way out of that because they're gonna come back eventually. But I think this is where you really start to look at that defensive core and go and say, okay, how can we improve this, or what needs to be done to improve it? Because if these stats defensively keep going the way they're going, that's not good. This is the side of the game that has to be improved, and we could wait And we could say, well, maybe Luke will figure it out, or maybe Luke and Kevin will figure it out. They have to figure it out. They have no choice. But if they don't figure it out, and I hope they do, but if they don't figure it out, you have to make that decision to pull a trigger on bringing someone else in. But we have to be ready to let someone go that we like.
There you go. That's the part of it.
That's
and thank
thing.
you, NJ Devils fan. It was December last year that we had all the issues, but Selecta said the same thing. 7-5-1 isn't going to cut it. Codex doesn't want to be in that top 10 draft looking thing. Oh my goodness, has a good point here too. Carolina's played 2 more games, so when you're rolling down that point values as well.
I get that too. Yeah. I see what you're saying over there. You make a good point with your numbers. Your numbers and such.
You in the
You son of a. Hold on one second. Anyway. How dare you?
No, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate for the point of just for the conversation side of it, though. So I mean, like, do you go now or do you wait until, like, hey, let's see how the team looks when Jack gets back. Let's see how the team looks if we put Colin Miller in there instead of Brendan Smith. How about if we put Cal Foote in there instead of someone else?
I think that's actually the ticket right there is the Miller part of it. I think he's waiting to insert Miller into the lineup, take Brandon Smith out of the lineup, or hell, even give like Ball or God forbid Luke a night to look, go in the press box and watch a game for a game or two. I think he's waiting for Colin Miller to come back before he makes any kind of real deal. But at the same time, if I really have a strong feeling about this. If the deal is there to be had, he's not going to pass this up. No. It's a big time. And how he likes big defensemen. I was surprised when listened, the Ryan Graves thing always kind of struck me as weird because it was like, it felt like it was $1 million off. Like everything is like, the next year's the cap is going to go up, X amount of dollars, and I'll have more wiggle room next year. And it's like, yeah, we understand that, but at the same time, like, there could have been a way to make that work. Like, you don't want to press yourself all the way against the cap. We understand that too. Like, you don't want to be like, well, we have $5 left, and we're screwed if we need anything. But right now they're pretty damn close to that. They have like $1.5 million or 1.6 or something like that underneath the cap. So they are damn close to the ceiling. They just need to be able to – they need to figure this out. I don't know if it's – listen, maybe Miller comes back and he's like the savior. And he's like, hey, guys, remember preseason me? I wasn't even really trying. And now he goes out there and he, like, does his thing. Just they in my opinion, I don't think it's time to panic. But, woo, my hand was shaking over that panic button right now. Because I think you have to look at it. You're missing Jack for another how many weeks? Nico for how many more weeks? How long can you sustain?
Let's also not forget these guys are professionals. So these guys got to know that if they're not going to perform, that Fitzgerald's going to be willing to make a move. And to with the exception of a few players in this team, anyone is tradable. So this at some point has got to come on to these players and say, they need to realize that they're not doing their jobs. And that if they don't do their jobs, that Fitzgerald's going to find someone that will come and do the job for them and replace them. So that's really what it's got to come down to as well. It's like these guys got to start figuring it out themselves.
Didn't Miller play like poop?
He did.
Keeping it PG even on the chat, boys. I'm very proud of you out there.
We're not going to grant Marshall the chat either.
In the preseason, I don't know if he was hurt. But, he definitely played uninspired in the preseason. Yeah. So,
this could be his opportunity, though.
Yeah, it could be his opportunity.
Could be.
Zadorov is a nice thought, though. Just that size and that physical presence. That's
we just got to be willing to back there. We just got to be willing to watch somebody else go in that direction. That's the thing. It's a matter of who. It's a matter of who. And I know we would all love in a perfect world to see Smith go. But, if he's going to go, he would, like you were saying earlier, Scotty, he's got to be part of some other bigger package and we got to be happy with whatever that package is going to be if we want to bring it in. If this move is made, then you got to imagine Fitzgerald's had enough of what he's seen, and that he wants this change to happen, and he wants it to happen now.
And it could be that Brendan Smith does get part of a deal because, I mean, let's face it, he's a free agent after this season too. So it's not like Calgary's on the hook for anything. They know they can put him out there every single game. Calgary's not going to make the playoffs this year. I can tell you, they've not looked that great, So nobody on the team wants to sign. So, I mean,
Ronaldo.
you could theoretically maybe throw in like another forward prospect from the AHL or something like that with Smith because then they're not tied to him for any remainder of time.
Ronaldo said that Smith will command at least an 8th round pick. That's great. Yeah, dude. Listen, I wouldn't even mind if they brought somebody in and Smith was like the extra defenseman. You know what I mean? Because if he's the extra defenseman, that's great. He could come off and spell a few people, and if somebody needs a break for a night, you put in Brendan Smith. Count on the fact that he's going to get at least 2 or 3 penalties, and put the PK through its paces. I guess I don't know what to tell you, but I don't know. I'm not, like I said before, I'm not panicking, but it's so close right now.
He could root a picnic on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, I just saw that from Ronaldo. Very nicely done, sir.
Yeah.
But that Smith, yes, but you can, for Calgary's purposes, you can put him out there, in your starting lineup, and you're not stuck with him for another year or anything like that. You can just walk away from this situation, and maybe you get a prospect or a draft pick or something like that, as well for Zadorov from the Devils. That would be, I think, Calgary's goal over there. So maybe Fitzy can work it with him being part of the deal, or Miller for that matter.
So does this change anything? Knowing that I'm looking it up now, Zadorov is a UFA after the season as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you mentioned that earlier or not, but
that's why you got to be careful. But we've already done that with Toffoli as well.
His cap hit is 375. His cap hit is 375.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
We have
money's
got
to exchange hands in either they retain some salary or
I think they'll retain some. Yeah,
bring in the at their cap space. They have projected cap space. Calgary has 0 projected cap space, and they're using 2.9 in LTIR. So they're not in a good spot either. So bring in Arizona to be the money guy, or maybe Zadorov.
Hey, go call Arizona. They're a bunch of scumbags. They'll take the extra money, right? Hey, Arizona, come here, you shady little bastard. Get in here. Come on. You take $2.5 million off this contract, and we'll give you Brendan Smith and a bag of pucks. All right? I know you need them over there at the Mullet. Kids been stealing them and all.
Well, that's why they might take draft picks. They might take, if they take a Brendan Smith in return. Brendan has got a $2 million contract, so that would actually give them a little bit of space as well.
I'm looking.
Very little.
Brendan Smith is 1.1. So 1.1 plus.
There you go.
We have 1.6 open. We're actually not using any LTIR. So 1.6 to
Brendan Smith, you're hurt. Get out of here.
Oh yeah. That 1.1 is really gonna break the bank there.
You can make it happen though, money wise. I think you could. You could work something.
The Lightning do it all the time.
A little. Yeah, there's a way. There's ways you can do it. But it might be, but it's going to cost us a draft pick possibly a prospect as well. And there's no guarantee that Zadorov would want to sign here afterwards. But I mean, look at Toffoli already. He's just like, I want to sign up. Where can I sign?
Assume,
please let me sign.
So that's what I would assume if Fitzpatrick is going to bring him in. If Fitzy's going to bring him in, I would say that it would be coming in knowing that he's going to resign. I feel like that's the type of move he would make. That he wouldn't.
I mean,
take
he's
a
going to put him
rental.
next to Luke, so it's just like, hey, this is what you're going to be playing next to if you want to resign here. Like,
Yeah, and
that's
you'll
a
get good minutes.
nice.
That's his biggest beef
Yeah.
in Calgary is that his playing time is like down. So you'll be like,
Oh.
yeah, you'll get good minutes. You'll play with Luke Hughes. You'll have to hold on the back end while he's off doing his fun stuff, like dancing around the middle of the ice with the puck and stuff like that. So, we need you to hold on to Fort, which I think he could too. Like, listen, I firmly believe. I keep reading.
Codex is going to rent out the Rock to the Coyotes so they can actually play.
Hey, you Coyotes, you want to go borrow the Rock a few days? We're going to be away for a little West Coast trip.
Hey,
You guys,
no one
bring in that
should be
futon.
no one should be bad mouthing the mullet because I can tell you from experience, the mullet is a hell of a place to go to, and I cannot wait to go back.
The mullet. We're just bad mouthing the Coyotes for not having an actual NHL arena. That's all.
Yeah.
In turn, bad mouthing the mullet.
Allowing. Yeah, well, no, it's not bad mouthing the mullet at all. Like I think the mullet's cool, but dude, it's an NHL team. They shouldn't be playing at the mullet. Like that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unless it was like, oh, there's construction and it's not going to be ready until Monday, and then you guys go play over here. I don't know why.
And then a road runner came and dropped an acme anvil.
Is an arena just going to fall off the back of the truck? Like that's.
Yeah,
that's
you
what it
never
sounds
know.
like you're saying.
I know a guy who's got this. He's got this deal. Arena.
Maybe if they just paid their bills. Yeah, they could still be playing at the other arena that they were at. If they just kind of paid their
back
bills.
to Hartford.
They can't. They can't pay those bills
again.
They can't pay those bills,
Or
but
no.
they certainly can be the money. They were. No, they weren't. The Nordiques became
weren't they the
Colorado.
Nordiques?
They were the Jets.
No, they were the
They were the
Jets.
Jets.
That's right.
They were the
They were the original Jets.
Yes, they were the original Jets.
Teemu Solani riding a stick all the way down the ice after he scored a goal.
That one was a good one, but Teemu Solani taking his glove off and shooting it out of the air. That I think was his best celebration.
People would have a heart attack if anybody did that nowadays.
I know.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Teemu Solani
or the double pistols, like two, and then somebody be like, "Oh my God, they're promoting guns! How dare they?" No, man.
I like to see someone have like little rings on the side of their shorts so they can put the gloves in down there like holsters and then pull their hands
in the gloves. The NHL is not that fun.
No, not anymore.
It's Sally's were like, yeah, we need just like old time, even the Yager salute, except for when he was a Ranger. But the Yager salute, I always enjoyed that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I know we're getting near the end, right? It's already 10. Holy boy, that went quick.
Oh wow,
that went real quick.
If the Arizona Coyotes were to move out of Arizona, I want you to name your top 3 places that you would want them to move. Realistic or unrealistic, whatever you want to say.
Okay.
All right.
Realistic or unrealistic?
One.
Who's going first? One.
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I'll do one that maybe
Ronaldo Camden. That's a good one.
I'll do one that maybe people aren't thinking of, but I just
Manitoba?
by knowing no,
Scotia?
just by knowing the area, I think they would sell really well. I'll say Green Bay. Just off get a random.
That is a real random one, but Green Bay does
Wisconsin.
Love the sports team.
I mean, there's snow
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah,
Milwaukee.
Everyone plays
Milwaukee.
Even
Oh, that's
Milwaukee.
all right.
Milwaukee
You can do that one too. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So Milwaukee or Green Bay. Yeah, and just Wisconsin. Just feel like they don't have like a lot of. Yeah.
All right. I'll give 2 that come to mind right away. Quebec City.
Right.
and Portland.
I was going to say Portland too.
Portland would be such a ready-made rivalry for Seattle. They already have Portland and Seattle hate each other already when it comes to sports. In MLS, it's one of the biggest rivalries in the league. Them and Vancouver are their own separate Cascadia Cup that they've had before the league even started. So I think having those three teams, Vancouver, Seattle, and then Portland, Oregon, I think it would be so wild. And Portland supports their teams. I mean,
is it Portland on fire? That's what Codex.
Portland supports the Winterhawks. Portland supports the Winterhawks and their WHL. They're major juniors in the Western Hockey League. The Portland Winterhawks, they're huge over there. You know, Portland supports their teams, and I think Portland would be a fantastic city. It's probably a smaller market than the NHL wants, but holy crap, you would have an instant rivalry. Like you already probably do have an instant rivalry. You should, at least, with Vancouver and Seattle, at least what I know from soccer. But you bring Portland into that mix, you know, that's another West Coast team. So that's good for travel for those teams. But I think Portland would be great. But obviously, I would also love to see. I would love to see Quebec get the Nordiques. I would love to see the Nordiques back in the league too.
The Nordiques would be back, and supposedly somebody asked, like, why doesn't Quebec work out? Because the city financially could not support the team. Like from what I understand, and I might be wrong, I might be completely wrong, but the infrastructure wasn't really good enough to support it. The financially they could never keep a team there. So there's a lot of like red tape to be cut through there. Yes, I would like. And somebody else said it, so I got to look this up. Codex, once again, man, you're on fire tonight. Quebec City to shut all those people
riot.
up.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the Portland riot. Listen, Hartford, bring back the whale. That'd be my
the whale
first.
Will be another good one.
First joint. Bring back the whale. I actually wore my Gordie Howe jersey last night to the Kraken game. My daughter went with me, and she wore her Jack Hughes jersey, and some dude, like, I got a lot of compliments from the Oiler fans. They're like, "Oh, Gordie, oh, that's great jersey." I caught the thickest Canadian accent last night because I was drinking, and of course, when you're drinking, I just pick up accents for whatever reason. Halfway through, I'm like, "Yeah, bud, I know." Like, "Yeah, what do you?" But anyways, Hartford would be great. I saw Houston mentioned. Houston would be a really cool city to have an NHL team. It also gets Dallas down there too.
Bring back the Arrows. Awesome. Bring back the Houston Arrows.
Kansas City.
That was a great logo.
Kansas City has been wanting a team. Actually, when it came down to, if I remember correctly, before Seattle was announced, it was like Kansas City, Seattle, and then somebody else, maybe Houston. There were the three cities that were really vying hard for an NHL team. So Kansas City might not be bad. But I kind of dig what Scotty was saying. Like, if you put a team up in Wisconsin, up in Milwaukee, that'd be great. Bring back Quebec. That'd be awesome. I don't know if there's any other real Canadian areas or provinces, cities, or anything like that could support an NHL team.
Moose Jaw. Bring Moose Jaw into the end.
Or give Toronto a second team and really watch that city explode. Like, watch their heads just like explode.
There's no way. No, there's no way they would do it. The Sabres right there. Like, Hamilton is always bandied about Hamilton is always talked about as a potential dropping point or a drop spot for a team, but I don't know if I would ever see that.
What about Saskatoon?
Saskatoon.
Just so you have a team that you get Saskatoon.
What about Beef Locker? I'm just kidding. Beef Locker's not a city.
London, Ontario. That's another good one.
Canadian city. Like, have you ever been up to Beef Locker? It's real cold up there. Yeah.
Isn't Hamilton a pretty big city up there, or decent?
Yeah. So that's where it becomes really kind of tricky with Hamilton and London. Is you start working your way into those spheres of influences from those other from the Sabres and Toronto, and I think that there's some kind of payment that's got to be made to both teams, or at least the closest of the two teams. If any team is going to come into that market, they have to actually pay for part of that market share. If I'm not mistaken. So that's why it would probably, that's why it would probably wind up being a place that's not in an area that they're going to have to do that, because you're coming in for a new team. As an ownership, one, you're going to have to pay that fee to become a new team, and then you're going to have to pay. I think the Devils had to do it when they came into the league. They had to do some kind of a market share thing with the Rangers and the Flyers potentially. But that's always kind of the big argument there, and that would be just, will they be supported? Absolutely, because hockey's, there are teams in major juniors that make more money than NHL teams. The London Knights is one of them. The Brandon Wheat Kings, I'm sure, make more money. The Portland Winterhawks make a ton of money. Some of those big name organizations. Spokane, yeah. Some of those big name, the Windsor Spitfires, all big name, major junior teams that just do really well. I don't know. Those would be my choices, at least, that I can think of off the top of my head. But I also hate to see. I'm also just from the pain that we felt in '95. I hate seeing any team be relocated, because I know what I felt as that little kid, worrying that I was going to lose my team. So I really hate to see teams. I hate to see a team be relocated, just because I know what it was like to almost lose my team. I couldn't imagine if I actually lost my team. I think I'd probably be devastated. So I hate to see relocation discussions like that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sad. The state of affairs for Arizona is just sad in itself. Like it's a fun novelty, but that novelty is going to wear off, especially for a lot of the guys that are playing there, because that's just not fun.
Yeah, but it seems like Bettman won't let that dream die of a successful team. It seems to be
my bet is he would move it back to Atlanta. He would move it back to Atlanta or something.
Oh, probably. So it could fail over there for the third time or fourth time, whatever it is now.
Third time, yeah.
And Atlanta supports everything else, but whatever.
Yeah, if I was going to do another southern city, I would think Houston would be a good, like you were saying. I think Houston is a good sports town, and they support their teams very well. So I think if you're going to go somewhere like that, Houston would be a good landing spot. Or if you do like NBA did with Oklahoma City, like they get good turnouts for their Thunder gets great turnouts for their games. So
they like hockey.
Somewhere that's going to really.
That's the question.
Well, who knows? Only one way to find out. Come on, Arizona, pack your bags. We're going to Oakland.
Oh God.
I like the idea of up north though. Just like like you were saying, Portland, I think is a good idea. I'd be down for putting a team like in North Dakota, where they're just hockey crazy up there.
I was thinking that too. But I don't know, like outside of like when the colleges are in town, like do they have enough people to fill an arena up there? But they fill the arena for the North Dakota games and stuff like that, which that's on my list of places to go. But
Oakland or bust. They're gonna play at the Coliseum.
Let's go. All right, boys. Man. Well, it is time to wrap up the show. I guess we'll get into our final thoughts. We'll try to make it a little bit quicker than that conversation. I just think that kind of stuff's fun to talk about. Like, yeah, it does suck to talk about a team possibly relocating, but
Salt Lake City.
It's always interesting.
Another good one.
Salt Lake City, yeah. Utah.
I thought about that.
Pretty cool. I guess I'll go first. But my final thought about the team right now is like they need to fix a lot of stuff. They need to get a lot kind of shored up. And the thing is you always think the time is on your side, but it's not. I'm not saying panic. I keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. It's not time to panic, but it isn't time to sit on your hands and just let the season go to waste. Do what you have to do to shore up this team. If it means make the trade, you make the trade. If it means seeing what Miller has and riding that wave, you ride that wave. But they have to do something. They have to fix this defense because it is costing them game after game. And they just got to go out there and play their game. Start to put together like a little winning streak. Get that confidence. Our goaltenders do have to step it up a little bit, where we can rely on the fact that they're going to, make a stop in a time of need, and not be holding our breath every time there's an odd man rush. So fix it up. Let's go. Get it together, boys. Time to get back on the winning track. Get a couple of them strung together. Beat those bastards on Saturday too. Do us a favor. End the week. Next week when we're talking next week. Next week, next Sunday, let's make sure that we're having a positive conversation of the fact that the Devils are on a 3-game heater, and they're making them a push to get Jack and Nico back in the lineup, and they're going to start to really liven it up. So there you go. There's my final thought.
All right. I'll go. My final thought, 2 things, very simply. 1, fix the defense, get that part of the game squared up and underway. And then, once Jack and Nico come back, I think the offense will fix itself. And 2, beat the Rangers. And today officially marks the beginning of Ranger Hate Week because we all hate the Rangers. And can't wait to be there at American Whiskey on Saturday to just kind of revel in the rivalry. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just want to beat the Rangers. I think at this point right now with the way this is going, just beat the Rangers on Saturday. Just beat the Rangers on Saturday at this point.
Just beat those bastards.
Yeah.
My final thought is thank you everyone for coming out on Friday night to launch the beer.
Absolutely.
We really, really appreciate that. The towers were cool. I know one of them was sacrificed, but the rest survived. So, and I was told that they were refilled a number of times. So thank you everyone for coming out. We hope you enjoyed it. And like we're saying, join our crew. We're happy to have you along. But yeah, I think for this week, you got 2 road games and you're coming back for the arch rival Rangers. Be ready to play every single one of those games.
Yeah.
None of these 12-minute performances. Hey, Ronaldo. Woo! Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, buddy.
Most appreciated. No more of these 12-minute performances in games like they did against the Capitals where they only decided to play the second half of the third period. Come out ready to go. Even though I know 2 of your big leaders are not there, you have guys on this team that can get the job done. Between the Bratts, the Toffolis, the Timos, the Dawson Mercers, the Hollas, the Palats. Some of these guys need to get themselves going in gear. Now's the time. Timo, I think, has been playing a lot better. Palat, Holla, Dawson, it's your turn to step up to the plate here. And as a Shorts Guy and Beer Baron said, fix the damn defense.
Fix the damn defense.
And beat the damn Rangers.
Yeah, you better be ready to play on Saturday night because those Rangers are going to come in hard after we bounced them last year in the playoffs.
I'm gonna get all of my anti-Rangers stuff out on Monday with Hot Pod, so Billy Dean can hear it now. Just in the off chance it doesn't work out on Saturday, but Billy Dean's gonna hear from me tomorrow, no matter what.
Someone cover Kreider at the side of the net on the friggin' power play,
nice?
please.
Wouldn't that be nice? Ugh.
Well, we'll be back next week talking about it. We'll have some game day live action happening with Shorts Guy and Vinny Parisi. Devils After Dark post game with me, the great Sam Wu, State of the Fan Address, Hockey on Tap. There's so much action going on here at the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network. And we want to thank our man who's in the bunker of Mrs. Wu's palace. She has banished him down there for eating too many chicken wings with extra blue cheese and ranch. Sam's a double dipper. He does blue cheese and ranch.
Oh, he does. He does.
That full experience,
Branch?
you know?
He's a brancher? He's a brancher.
He's a brancher. He's a brancher.
Yeah. And then he takes one bite of the celery and says, "Look, salad." So we're working on him. But thank you, everybody.
We are.
And a special thank you to Sam Wu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that about does it for this episode of the Let's Go Devils podcast.
You hear that, Sam? I know you're still producing.
I said you're still producing there, Sam.
We're done.
Let's go Devils.